Stand by now for Fractured Flickers, the program that dares to answer the burning question, what show is on next?
1, 2.
Good evening, class, and welcome to another seminar of Fractured Flickers, the television program that means so much to so few. For those of you who are taking notes, I am your host, and my name is Connie. You know, so many people misspell that name that I'd like to make a special point of it tonight. It's not spelled E-I-D, neither is it spelled I-E-D. Actually, it's spelled H-A-N-S.
Here's real news for you boating fans. Do you dream of owning your own boat? Do you think you can't afford it? Well, think again. You can. This broad beam beauty is yours at a low, low price. Or you can own this gaff-rigged weekend frigate. What's the secret? You build it yourself. Yes, it's the brand new Waterlog 4 by Crashcraft, the most trusted name in boating. Build it right in your own basement. It's easy, and it's fast, too. In just 8 fun-filled years, you'll be finished with the hull and on your way to the launching site. And look at this. Our engineers have devised a simple launching device which uses your automobile as a counterweight. You can't get simpler than that. Imagine the excitement when you give the signal and topsail to poopsail. Your Waterlog 4 slides down the ways and into the sea. Then, after a brief salvage operation by our staff of skinny divers, you and your friends will be off on your first sea adventure together. Then it's halyard to the forecastle, 4 sheets to the wind, and you're running free on the open ocean. Think of the thrills in store for you. Think of that first meal at sea. What is it about eating on the water? Something special you just can't get on dry land. Yes, the Waterlog 4 is your home away from home. It sleeps 4 in perfect comfort. This boat is loaded with safety features like non-slip decking, high voltage radio, long view telescope, stainless steel life preservers, and a patented anchor. It's completely waterproof. We guarantee you'll never lose it. Yes, all this at a price so ridiculous we can't even mention it on the air. Remember, our boats are unconditionally guaranteed against dry rot. So get in the swim today. Think of the relaxing weekends in store for you far from the storm and strife ashore. Breathing invigorating salt air. Getting your sea leg. Standing watch. And seeing your family tucked away for the night. There's time for shipboard games, too, like Man Overboard and Abandoned Ship. No wonder everyone loves the sea. So climb aboard the good ship Waterlog. Do it today. You can be sure if it's crash crash. What better way to get away from it all? As our happy customers always say, help!
For the first 27 Fractured Flickers fans who write in abjectly enough, we have 22 tickets to a Hollywood premiere. The picture is, let's see, the covered wagon. Well, they are a little outdated, but if 1923 ever comes around again, you've got aisle C.
The Dalt Wisley Program from Wisleyland. Brought to you by RCJ, world leader in big color hearing aids. And here's Dalt Wisley.
Folks, this is my Wisleyland, my magic dictatorship. Now, where is it, you might ask? Well, by car, it's conveniently located just 200 short miles down the Santa Ana Freeway from Los Angeles. You drive down a modern superhighway, and you prepare to make a stop when you come to that familiar pole that means you've reached Wisleyland. The hotel accommodations are excellent, and of course, our California weather is always a delight. At the Wisley Hotel, adults can sit out on the patio and get smashed. And meanwhile, the kids are enjoying things like this actual lifelike fake plastic warthog, which has been recreated in artificial simulated phony grass. And even more thrilling are some of our carefully planned rides. The steeplejack ride is very popular this year. Yes, at a nominal cost, the park visitor can actually get the sensation of flying. Or of propelling a riverboat with a straw hat. A real favorite with the kids is the submarine ride, where they can actually see floating paper cups and beer cans underwater. And another kiddie favorite is driving their own cars the way they like to drive. And riding their own train. Kids are Uncle Dalt's #1 consideration, so they're closely supervised on all our rides.
I sure feel safe with all those clean-cut Dalt Wisley employees.
The concerned mother can feel confident about her child's welfare.
Wait, he forgot to brush his teeth!
Well, I want to show you some scenes from my latest true life adventure picture. It's the story of 10-year-old Pollyanna Schwartz, an international smuggler who fattens up to 300 pounds to avoid being recognized on a bad check charge. You'll hear Pollyanna say,
Let's see, 10,000 illegal dum-dum bullets, quick frozen tsetse fly lava, a field strip Zeppelin, 46,000 Goldwater bumper stickers, the Wayne King photos. Fine, I'll make out a check.
cash, sweetie. And you'll see my special Wisley touch when an almost human giraffe falls in love with an airplane. Watch for it at a drive-in near you. Now then, let's look at the costs of some Wisleyland rides. Would you believe it? This young lady is actually going on our Snow White ride for only 3 C coupons, or about $4.16.
This is even better at 6B coupons.
And for a hot weather treat, just 2 A coupons let you stay in our ice ride for 20 minutes.
It's a steal, Dalt.
In cooler weather, there's our fire thrill ride for 2 D coupons. This is the ride that makes hundreds say,
Gee,
This one is more fun than any of them, dog. This is a zinger.
And for our final treat, I want you to see our staff meeting where we know just how much the park takes in each day.
Lousy dolt, only $1.20 from good Fairyland.
Don't, big boy. $3.
Grover Cleveland brought in only $3.50.
From Fatland, $2 even. Face it, dog, baby, you bust. There's your foreclosure notice.
Okay, gang, let's sing it for the last time.
D-A-L-T Wisley. Don't Wisley is broke.
Well, I still have my cartoon studio. I know nothing can happen to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest this evening is a charming young lady who is featured on the delightful television series Mr. Ed. Miss Connie Hines. Welcome to our program.
Thank you very much.
Tell me, on your series, Mr. Ed, do you play the lead?
Do you mean you've never seen Mr. Ed?
Well, Miss Hines, these days my entire life is wrapped up in miles and miles of silent films. I can't keep up with all the new shows.
New?
Well, anything later than Birth of a Nation is new to me, my dear.
Oh, well, I don't exactly play the lead. The lead is Mr. Ed.
Oh, of course. And who is it that plays Mr. Ed?
He's a horse.
I beg your pardon.
Mr. Ed is a talking horse.
A television series about a talking horse.
That's right. You see, Alan Young, who plays my husband, has this talking horse. Only the horse just talks to him, you see, and...
The whole series is snappy patter between a man and a horse. Look, take my advice, Miss Hines, and get out of it if you can. It'll never get off the ground.
You can't get off now. It's been on the air for 3 years.
You have?
And the ratings have been just wonderful.
Well, I can say the same thing about Fractured Flickers. Only, of course, I'd be lying.
Fractured Flickers? Is that the name of this program?
Well, it's no sillier than Mr. Ed.
But what about the scroll?
The scroll.
I was to present you with this, but
Oh, a testimonial scroll. How nice. Well, go ahead, read it.
it's from the Young People's Club of America.
Oh, hiya, gang. A great bunch of fans.
This is to commend you for your unending fight for decency and clean living.
Oh, at last someone's noticed.
And for your unrelenting patriotism and courage.
Well, I was a staff sergeant in special services, you know.
And for this program, which has done so much to combat juvenile delinquency.
Well, we do bring the kids in off the streets, I guess.
A grateful nation acknowledges your worth.
Well, thank you, thank you.
J. Edgar Hoover.
J. Edgar Hoover.
I tried to tell you I thought this was your FBI in action.
Maybe any minute now. You thought I was J. Edgar Hoover.
Well, I never can remember what he looks like.
Yeah, well, it's been so nice having you on our show.
But I thought he was a fine president.
Yes, and good night, Miss Connie Hines.
And I always use his vacuum cleaner.
We'll return in a few moments after I make a hurried call to Washington, D.C. It's axiomatic in the entertainment business that it's next to impossible to make fun of a Western picture. In themselves, most Westerns are so far-fetched that any change can't help but make them look less ridiculous. However, always ready to fly in the face of the laws of chance, Fractured Flickers will now attempt to do that very thing. The picture we're going to fracture is a kind of Eastern Western made in 1940 and starring the screen's immortal cowboy, Tom Mix. This picture is particularly interesting because it will give us the rare opportunity to see Tom Mix without his cowboy clothes on. There must be another way to say that.
Traveling in the Wild West of yesteryear was an undertaking fraught with hardship and peril. Just imagine, no motels, no drive-in pizza parlors, not even a Burma shave sign. What's more, if you took a wrong turn, you might come across a band of hostile Indians, like these Ogallala Hotfeet, led by their awesome chief, Laughing Boy. With no road maps available, mainly because there were no roads, there was also the chance of losing your way in the trackless desert, like this Wells Fargo coach seen here approaching Cheyenne, Wyoming by way of Lake Erie. what trails there were treacherous and full of hairpin turns. So called because when the driver fell off, he always lost his hairpin. Of course, the Western cowboy, with his highly developed sense of direction, always knew where he was going.
All right, men, we're gonna head north. You hear me now? I don't mean south or west, north.
Yeah, north. Let's see. North is the side of the tree the moss grows on. Where is it?
Fortunately, a cowboy could always ask directions of a hospitable group of friendly prospectors.
Howdy, partners. Can you tell me which way is
Plain jumper!
Of course, there was one infallible method of finding the way home.
Okay, hoss, head for the barn!
On the ranch, of course, there was always a friendly slap in the jaw, a cheery headlock, and a cordial kick in the slats for the fellow who was down.
Get up, you. Go inside and shave.
My face?
No, your pants. Go.
Yet life seemed empty for the cowboy because it lacked that most important thing, the woman's touch. Or it did, until the first lady guest arrived at a Western ranch. Shy, retiring, demure.
Quick, I only got 2 weeks vacation. Where are the men? This way, Mavis.
Pecos is my name, ma'am. Pecos Pruitt.
Oh, boy. You going steady with anybody?
Just my horse, but he's awful jealous.
But at that moment, the foreman called to Pecos and sent him out on the range.
Pecos, I want you to ride fence on the North 40. The North 40, and drop beans behind you so you don't get lost.
Okay.
What an opportunity for Mavis. She could ride out and meet Pecos Pruitt alone, under romantic western skies. Unfortunately, her horse pulled up lame.
Oh, what's the matter, horse? You got a flat.
Worse than that, it was an ingrown toenail. Little did Mavis know that she was being watched by a member of the notorious Chicken Flicker gang, who had cleverly disguised himself by riding a white horse.
Oh, boy, a real girl. What a chance to learn to dance.
And sure enough, the dance-mad Chicken Flicker lay in wait for Mavis.
Hey, cara mia, how you like to teach me the turkey trot? Hey, wait a minute. Ain't I supposed to lead?
A short distance away, Pecos Pruitt suddenly had the feeling that something was wrong.
I tell you, I'm not Catherine Murray.
You know, hoss, I got a feeling that something very dear to me is in danger.
And Pecos Pruitt galloped off to the rescue of his good Stetson hat, which he had dropped in the corral. And what happened to the dance?
This fool horse cut in.
Why can't you be nicer to Mavis, son?
She's a dog.
But she's worth $48 million.
Mavis, honey, let's you and me get married.
I thought you'd never ask.
So did I. But enough of this courting. Let's get hitched and go to the bank.
In 24 hours, Mavis had bought both a wedding license and Pecos Pruitt's 7-year contract with the ranch. Next day, the newlyweds were on a stagecoach headed toward the east. They arrived at Mavis's home in Brookline, Massachusetts, accompanied by her mother, Mrs. Peister DeWitt.
You really gonna live with us, Mama?
Oh, shut up.
Next day, Mavis realized it had all been a dreadful mistake.
You're avoiding me, Mavis. How come?
'Cause I found you can take the boy away from the barn smell, but you can't take the barn smell away from the boy.
Accusing me of neglect and personal daintiness. That makes me feel bad.
I think I can fix that.
And Mrs. DeWitt wrote the annulment agreement and a check for $80,000.
That does make me feel better, Mama.
Don't call me Mama.
The word of Pecos Pruitt's good fortune spread like a prairie fire.
Hey, fellers, Pecos Pruitt struck it rich in the east.
Imagine, $80,000 for unmarrying an itty-bitty girl.
There's gold in them thar frills.
Go east, young man.
And with that, every cowboy west of Ohio started east to find his fortune and marry it. Even Chief Laughing Boy and his braves became cowboys for the occasion. They looked all right, but they weren't entirely convincing. The thundering herd swept eastward, except for a few who got the direction wrong. And it seemed that the entire West might be deserted and lost. But as the first riders approached Atlantic City, look! That did it. For while it was a good year for cowboys, it was a bad year for women. Isn't that pitiful?
Well, back to the ranch.
And so the thundering herd swept westward again. Except for a few who got the direction wrong.
You sure this is Oklahoma, Jesse?
Gotta be. Look at all them Indians. Minute Mysteries. A series of baffling crimes in which you are invited to match wits with that master sleuth, the beloved Sherman Oaks. And now, Minute Mystery number 2. The case of bad bourbon. In the Federal Space Administration building, top scientists studied a number of secret plans. Their object, to build the X-34 before the Russians did. The manufacturing contract was finally awarded to the Trotsky-Lenin Aircraft Corporation in Moscow, Idaho. 1 week later, the X-34 was completed. The secret plans were given to Pop Henry, a federal night watchman. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. And Pop Henry went to that big federal agency in the sky.
Oh, boy.
Next morning, under the cover of darkness, the killer made his move. But while he was opening the safe, federal agents popped out of nowhere. Disguising himself as Mata Hari, he played one against the other. This enabled him not only to have fun, but to make off with the X-34 as well. That's when word was sent to Sherman Oaks, who had just finished solving the case of the barking dog. Oaks, master detective, went to work to recover the X-15, which was also missing.
Well, off to work. Oh, yes, the game's afoot, the game's afoot.
Knowing foreign agents like a book, Oaks promptly caught one, and thereby obtained his first important clue. Chocolate chip. This led him to a den of spies, which in turn led him to the hideout of Mata Hari himself. Oaks' first impulse was to choke her, but she talked him out of it. The desperate spy even tried liquor, but to no avail. Seconds later, Oaks had her in chains. Now, can you do what Oaks did? Can you solve this case? Here are the clues. A mustard plaster. Frankie Lane. Lola Lane. A disease. The boat that brought the disease in a cargo of bad bananas. 2 watches. What you have in your stomach. The movie El Cid. And now, here are the suspects. Sid. Lawrence Chadwick. John and Marcia. A bear who ate a full-grown man. My wife. Hi, honey. 2 cute little beggars. A big, ugly beggar. And a pussy-footing cat. Who done it? You have 60 seconds to name the murderer. Time's up. The bear that ate a man was the killer.
Now stay tuned for something you've been waiting for a long time. The end of our show. Here's a special announcement before we go. If any of you have seen a blonde, blue-eyed girl, 5 feet 6, 38, 24, 36, wearing a red sweater and gold capri pants, I certainly envy you.